Hello, I'm back. That was really interesting. I played with Dogebot, um, the Doge dog, cute little dog icon. Um, and it was interesting because at the first few moves, um, it stopped it and thought for maybe a minute, which in the history of the world, um, the AI has never taken longer than a human. So that was interesting. What it was thinking about, I'm not sure exactly. Um, but I didn't realize the issue will be at what point do you stop mirroring? And I hadn't really thought it through because no one has. It's not really clear when that should be. But it was funny when it was because it was, to my way of thinking, crystal clear. And when that moment is, I will show you right now. So let me share the screen if I can. Okay, there we are. So I guess I'll leave the AI analysis up, but that's a video for another day because I think that the information that it's giving you is being interpreted in a way that might not be helpful, but it can be interpreted in a way that is just a tremendous tool for analyzing certain positions. But I'll leave it up for now, recognizing that it's a mirror game. So what there is to see, there is to see. I believe this is where it stopped and thought for about a minute. um, and of course, I'm not thrilled with mirroring, but on the other hand, it's a great way to coast, although one doesn't um, want to coast too far. I don't think one should play a move that is just horrific for the sake of mirror, but it won't play a horrific move. So at some point, I'm going to start exploring, not in this context, but what happens with ignoring the 3-3 approach, I'm calling it now. And I don't even think that that's in the wheelhouse of the AI right now. So um, it should be kind of an interesting thing. So this is where, yeah, it didn't. I'm feeling a little bit uncomfortable with mirroring, but it should be fine. The idea would be clearly black is just moving Sente forward, right? Will not actually take an advantage if I am playing directly the next move. So what that suggests is he's moving Sente forward, and at some point it has to be worth Komi at least, right? Because I can't play the next move and just catch up. So the the pressure is really on for black to do something so that the value of Sente is going to be at least 7.5 points, which is one argument why it's too high, because one could see in the opening that one could actually count where the points are coming from. But black is going to need to find somewhere to play a move that will get 7.5 unanswered points. And it's unclear how to do that exactly, although there ought to be a way. Things like, well, playing in the center of the board so that your opponent can't mirror. That's a actual possibility, I guess, in the very early stage, but it should have some meaning to it. So, because again, it would need to be worth, or else you're balanced in, let's see. Of course, coming in here because the stones are high is a possibility, and that won't die. I like to make a joke that I haven't invaded since the late 80s, and I figure why start now when I don't need to. Also, I'm mirroring, so it would have to wait for black to invade. One thing I was starting to see is that if there is a life and death issue, it's going to start mattering. So here is where it's coming up. If we exchange groups, there is something there that it could potentially be worth, the value of Sente could be worth a lot. So this will make me nervous because it's very interesting what's going on with Score Estimator, because of course it's calculating this, but the points don't exist anywhere. It's saying that the value of Sente, this potential that you have, that you're moving forward, is worth this much, but it doesn't exist. It's hypothetical. So it's hard to say, black up by this. It's essentially a meaningless number in this context, but yeah. So I need to think about why it thinks that Sente has the potential value of that. Of course, it's notice how it's putting such a high value to living, not trading. And that follows strategically. If white is ahead, then white should not trade. So that is starting to make me nervous. Thank goodness I get to live, right? Because I don't want to trade. This is a very standard shape that I always thought was very kind of cute the way it works with the crosscut. So if white captures, you can come on top is the way that works. So that's a fairly standard technique. And right here is where you have it. This is where I decided there is just no way. And it was really interesting to me that it came up during Ko, because one might think, how can you mirror a Ko? So winning the Ko fight is, it's a state of mind. It's hard to say it's a win, because if you look at it, it is Gote. It doesn't really do anything. It's looking towards the potential. So when black plays here, right? So I don't need to connect this because it's currently the way it is, right? It will require black to play a move and then play another move. So doing that is not the way to play a Ko. So this is the moment where so jump cutting is a possibility because you're going to end up here anyway. But this is where I thought, okay, absolutely, white is going to jump ahead because I'm out and black is not out. And black is now a move behind here. So this is essentially a lost move. This number will start to vary in the way that at the beginning of a handicap game, it would appear something like black is ahead by 30 points. And then as the game progresses, that number will decrease. And it might feel like white is doing something wrong. Like, shouldn't white, I mean, black is doing something wrong because shouldn't it stay the same, right? Shouldn't black win by 30 points if black is 30 points ahead? And that's not actually the way it works. So not realizing that a 3-stone handicap game means something like a 5-point win for black. Just the expectation is such that it has a huge effect. So a 3-stone handicap is not that big in the sense that at the end, the margin will not be anywhere close to 30 points if both sides, did something reasonable strategically. So this is very different than the way I used to approach a 3-stone game, which is actually, come to think of it, exactly not what to do. Because if you do these big scale things, then the game will end more quickly with black still ahead by that potential. So what you really want to do is inch by inch it. So here, I think the margin should start getting bigger, is what's going to happen, because now he's I guess carrying the loss forward, one might say. So I dislike this shape intensely. So again, it's not really a threat, but I'm never going to invade. Even though I know that this is not to say so much that this is better than this. Again, these point values don't really mean a lot. It's saying, what is the value of Sente? So what would black be doing here? That would shift the absolute score. If it's something like, I mean, black defending here just seems really odd. So it's not a good position to be in. Later, I will be looking at the opening in terms of the flow of it and how those kinds of things come into play. But I just thought it was very interesting that it came up exactly at the moment of winning a Ko, which is a loss of a move, I guess. Just going a little bit forward, using the staircase technique. And yeah, this surprised me a great deal. That's just a tactical error, I guess. I'm never gonna do it. Why? Why? Why should I do that? I did actually want to play there. Some of the most the really strange moves that one sees, if you approach it like a human and just say, well, this is what I want to do. If you just do it, it turns out that it looks like a weird AI move, but it's not. It it follows logically. So yeah, I really wanted to do that. Okay. So I can fight this but I'm never going to ignore a co-threat. So I'm gonna just continue to, and those moves are gonna be either exchanges, which are fine for me, or, we're just gonna continue going because I don't want to win this Uh, it's absolutely fine if black does, because then I've got two moves elsewhere. So I'm going to answer every co-threat. I am not going to ignore something for the potential of connecting here and then cutting. I mean, that requires just too many moves, and it's not going to happen. So I'm, yeah, this was now the co is meaningless, but these guys have just like withered, completely withered on the vine. I really dislike the dog's neck, but I didn't see how black was going to deal with this. This this shape is, yeah, black could live, but it almost doesn't matter. At the point where the flow is broken, because if black breaks that territory, there will be something to compensate for it. So let's see where we're at. Yeah, so I, we're gonna get into another and I thought this was I because I thought I would review this game later. Like, why not? So I could connect. Yeah, because I'm far ahead and it wouldn't matter. But why not play a Um, so this is making a really big. So here, play a co-threat. He answers. I take. Yeah, what kind of what's a hypothetical co-threat he could even play? This? Yeah, I'm gonna answer everything. So it it doesn't really matter. Um, so this looks a little bit scary, but Orion Orion lurks within. So let's check this out. So he kind of has to do this. If, hold on, now it's starting to get annoying. If he does this, my plan was to do this. So this is, I forget which is which. One of the three stars of Orion's belt here. So this is going to be Epsilon, the center, the ice stealing point, collapsing Liberty point here. So in this situation, there's basically no way that black is going to be able to kill this in my view. So regardless of what happens there, then yeah, it's fine. So it does not have to be maybe not right now, but the best assumption to make is that everybody lives. Um, this is not the way to live because you have Orion. Do you see where it's coming up? So I can do that, but figured, uh, so it's done. It will be so much fun when we can talk about strategic things. Like, where are the urgent areas to play on the board? And once you've established those, then you can get into the, okay, where exactly should it be? But starting with where exactly should I be presupposes a lot. So that was fun. MirrorGo. Um, I'm sure there is a lot more to it. It is actually a big thing. It is not a simple matter at all. But I thought that we really highlighted the idea of how Co has gone astray, gone away. Um, thanks for joining me, and I'll see you next time on Strange Go Feelings with your host, Janice Kim.